Hey friends, welcome to the Johnson City Living Podcast, where we learn about the people, places, events, and flavors that make Johnson City just a lovely place to live. I'm your host, Colin Johnson, with the Colin and Carly Group and Keller Williams Realty. If you're interested in buying or selling a home in the area, or if you're looking at investing in a rental property, give us a call at 423-930-8003, and we will look forward to helping you. Now, let's get to today's episode. And today we are going to meet somebody super cool who is doing some really neat stuff. And I'm excited for you to meet my new friend, Brian Duncan. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So today, Brian is the owner of a local acupuncture clinic and also partner in Duncan MMA. And his journey blends the traditional medicine, modern wellness, and the world of mixed martial arts, which is not a combination you hear every day. Yeah. So that's pretty cool stuff, Brian.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep things interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to learn all about it. First things first, Johnson City Living Podcast. What do you love most about Johnson City?
Oh, man, put me on the spot.
Always.
Can I just throw a shout out to like my favorite restaurant in the area would be Mid-City Grill.
Oh, yeah.
I like
okay.
that. Yeah, that's a favorite of ours.
Nice.
And Cootie Brown's. Those are our two favorite places we frequent a lot.
I love Cootie Brown's.
Yeah.
I love Mid-City. I don't tell anybody, but I don't go to Mid-City very often.
Uh-oh.
But I need to kick it back into gear because I do. Every time we go, I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
And they're open to like 2 a.m. too or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it easy when you're out doing stuff.
Yeah. What are you doing at 2 a.m.?
It's usually sleeping. I hope. If I'm not, something's wrong.
Brian, you got some explaining to do. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan. So I was born and raised.
So just right around the corner.
Yeah, just right around the corner. Yeah.
Born and raised in Michigan.
Born and raised in Michigan. I got my master's degree out in Denver, Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
My doctorate in San Diego. And then we moved back to Michigan for a little while, and my wife missed the mountains. So I think our move to Michigan lasted about 3 months before she decided she wanted to go back to Colorado. Ooh. And we settled on Tennessee. So,
yeah, I mean that's a logical, progression around America, and then you're like, yeah, you know what? Instead, we're going to go to Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah.
We have a lot of people who go. They're coming like driving from Florida to the like north, and they go, we're just going to stay here because we like the mountains,
and
not go up north. And
then
there's a lot of people who are moving south, and they go, we just like it here better because
And that was kind of the thinking is we really wanted to be back in the mountains. You know, the Rockies were really nice, but Colorado is super expensive. We had some friends down in Cosby, which is near the Newport area.
Yeah.
And we were just visiting and hanging out with them. And my wife was like, this is it. Let's move here. And so we just like for about 6 or 7 months, we would come down every month and stay with them and just travel around. And eventually we found a house, and it was out in this area. We've loved it. So.
This is a little further out than just Cosby. I mean,
I know we didn't really have it was like somewhere in East Tennessee.
Okay.
Yeah. I worked from home at the time, and
I'm always wondering how people do it because I want to catch them doing it.
Yeah.
That's how I live indoors, is by helping people buy and sell houses occasionally. I know everybody thinks that I'm a huge podcast star, which I am, in Johnson City, in this room right now with Brian and Mitch.
This is probably the most famous podcast in the world.
This is going to be
with the world's most interesting man.
Yeah. Well,
they think I'm talking about me, but
they're talking about you for sure. You're talking about you. Okay. So what'd you do like growing up in Michigan? What was fun about that?
A lot, mainly the water.
Did you grow up on the water?
I did. Yeah. So, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents in the upper lower peninsula. That's a confusing thing to say, but
UPLP.
Yeah, UPLP. So we're still in the lower peninsula, but the upper part of the mitten. And my grandfather had bought a cottage when I was born, right on a really small lake. But it was private, so I grew up like all summer long. It was like just me and a bunch of old retired people. And my grandfather was like, "Here's a boat, drive around, fish, do something." And so I had
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty great. And usually I'd bring up a friend or something, stay a couple weeks and before they'd go home. But I'd spend pretty much the whole summer up there just on the water by myself.
How fun is that?
And couldn't have loved it more, you know? Yeah.
Did you ever have any scary events happen on the water?
I'm trying to think. Not really.
That's good.
Yeah, we kept it pretty tame.
Okay.
We did try to scale the dam one time. It was a very small dam.
Gotcha.
And we got in trouble for that. So my friend and I, that was good. But
just watch your language too. This is a family. I love it. I love it. Okay, so
I don't know if this would be, if it is a family thing, but I'm going to tell you there was a store right next to that called the Dam Store.
Is that where you bought the damn bait?
That's right.
To go damn fishing.
That's right.
Yeah. That's where you get it. You got to do it.
That's right.
We got one. There's a bait store right across from the dam over by the airport here in Johnson City, so you can go there and get your damn bait. So fishing growing up, and then how did you get interested in like MMA stuff? And
oh, that's a great question.
Does that start first, or did you just start getting into MMA later?
No, that started when I was young. So I've been doing this for over 30 years. I wanted to be a Power Ranger when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Specifically the White Ranger for anyone who's tracking.
I was thinking red, maybe blue.
Yeah, they were cool, but like
White
Ranger was the coolest. Okay. Well, he had the cooler Zoid, and you know, it was good. But yeah, so I think I was 4 when I started. I started in like an old school karate. I did that for years. Got into judo eventually. Did some amateur kickboxing for a little bit. Did a couple matches of that. And I just kept training and training and training. Later on, I got into what's called Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And so now I run a gym where I also wrestled a little bit in high school. So I run a gym where we teach jiu-jitsu, we teach kickboxing, and we teach wrestling. And then we have classes to put it all together for MMA. And so, you know, the past few years I've kind of coached just a bunch of amateur fighters, a couple of guys I've helped coach or train with that have gone pro. And it's been a good thing. But yeah, that's how I got started. Just wanted to be a Power Ranger. I think I'm living my dream.
Yeah, and I think you're the first person who's ever said Zoid on the podcast. I don't even remember what the Zoid part was.
I think maybe they were called Zords. I don't remember, but maybe. It was the big giant dinosaur robot machines that they rode in.
Oh yeah, okay,
yeah.
I think that was
given I wanted to be a Power Ranger. You think I would know? But
well, and you wanted to ride on a dinosaur. Who doesn't want to do that?
Yeah, who does? Right. It's fair.
Okay, so you started kicking butt and beating up people and having like just this passion for that.
Yeah.
And where did that take you?
Not really anywhere.
Did you wrestle in college, or
I didn't. No.
Did we go to college? Did we?
I went to college later in life.
Yeah.
I don't want to say late, but later. So I graduated high school at 16.
Smart.
And didn't want to go to college, got into business for myself, had always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I was originally a software programmer. And that led me into developing mobile applications, web design. I was one of the probably first 300 to 500 people to release an app on the iPhone App Store back in the day.
Dude,
when it launched.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I had a lot of fun.
What was your app?
It was a flashcard application, just help people study. Like
that's cool.
I was interested in biblical languages at the time, and so I developed a flashcard application to help me study. And since then, people have made much better flashcard apps than me. But at the time, it was the only one.
Did you get many downloads and make some cash off of this thing?
It was mainly free. It was kind of just a hobby that I was doing.
If you were one of 500, you probably didn't even know you could monetize those things. At the beginning,
you could at the time. You could
just kind of like
everything 99 cents, $1.90. Yeah, for me, it was just like, this is cool. There was a lot of free apps coming out at the time. There still are. Yeah. And that was back before like the microtransactions. So you either had to like pay or it was free.
Right.
And I just did it for free. It was fun. But it made a good, it was mainly as like just to help me like get a job. Like it was part of my portfolio.
Sure.
Like, hey, I've got this app, and it did. I got a software job, and then eventually I quit that to run a yo-yo company. And it's
just a really natural progression.
It's very, very natural progression. Yeah. And so, the whole time I was training martial arts and stuff, but I didn't do anything with it. I got into yo-yos. Which I'm sure if people are listening, they're like, what does that mean? Like the toy
yo-yo.
The toy.
What brand, what was the name of the yo-yo? Your
So the company is yoyotricks.com.
yo-yo tricks.
Still exists.
Okay.
I had a
Did you
business.
guys build yo-yos?
Oh, we did. We manufactured them.
Okay.
Mainly, I guess we should say we designed them, and then we would contract with manufacturing shops. We made a few here in the States, a lot of them overseas, China, Japan. And it still exists. So if you go to yoyotricks.com, it's still there. My business partner had started it, and I kind of got in, and it just kind of took off and got crazy. I mean, at our peak, I feel like, we had over a dozen employees. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He bought me out just this past December, and
nice.
is kind of, I've taken a different path now with the martial arts and the acupuncture. And so he's still kicking with that. But like, we have an iPhone app that I programmed for that. We have the whole website. We gamified yo-yoing. So, and it's not just yo-yos now. Like, you can learn to juggle. You can learn kendama, which is like a ball and cup toy.
Yes, that thing's cool.
Yeah, those are really neat. Diablos, which is it's like two cones stuck together, and you use sticks. Do all these tricks. Popular in the Cirque du Soleil.
Huh.
And then there's like an app where like it helps you track, like, hey, you're a beginner, so you start here, and then all the tricks are assigned like experience points. So like, as you master them and you check them off, like, you level up your profile, and it's just a fun
That's
thing.
cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, he carries a few different brands on there. But there's a lot of yo-yos that we designed ourselves and things like that. So
How in the world did you wind up by owning a yo-yo company? I mean, like, literally, like, it just seems crazy.
So my business partner, he got into yo-yoing. It's kind of a funny tale, with a long story that I'll cut short, which is basically that he was a nerd in school, and he went from like a small private Christian school of like 2 people, got into, I think, public school, and I think it was in middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's like 300 people in his class, and we always used to travel around, and we would do shows, and we joke that, like, during all those years in private school where he worked real hard, he transformed himself into a nerd. Yeah. And so he was kind of made fun of a lot, and just had a hard time making friends.
That's not
and
fun.
and his parents, for whatever reason, decided that the best way to help their super nerdy son without very many friends was to get him a yo-yo for Christmas. And that turned into some giant hobby of his. Like, he got really into it. Eventually started traveling around to like churches and things, and performing like a gospel ministry with the yo-yo. And so when I grew up, we attended the same church as kids, and he he was always performing yo-yos there, and I just thought it was cool. And so, like, when I was in high school, I think he was one of the college students that helped out in the high school youth group. So I got into yo-yos, and then one day it was just like, hey, we should make this into a business. And so we did. And turns out you can just do things.
So you can just kind of create things. It's crazy. That's pretty fun. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, did your parents have an entrepreneurial spirit about them too? Is that where this came from?
No, my mom, she worked part-time jobs here and there growing up. My dad was an electrical engineer for a bigger company for a while, and then eventually went full-time with the military as a Chinook mechanic. But my grandfather, who I spent summers with, was an entrepreneur. So he ran a wood shop in Livonia, Michigan. Back in the day, was a clock repairman. He was a firearms dealer at one point. Like, just like loads of different things. And even when he was older and retired, he was still constantly dabbling in things. And I got drug along as a kid all the time.
Fun. So you do get it honestly somewhere down the line.
Yeah, I do get it honestly, and I picked it up from someone, and just whatever I learned from him, and just took off. Yeah.
Think your dad would have liked trying to run his own business, or he just mechanicking was kind of his thing?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he talked about it a bit when we were younger, doing different things, but I think just mechanicking was easy, and he was good at it, and
it paid the bills, of the family, and
he was in the military 30 some odd years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and now he's retired and
doing great.
Yeah.
Is he still in the UP? LP?
No,
UP?
he still lives in Michigan, and then they winter down here with my wife and I.
Smart.
Yeah.
Because it's probably brutal.
Yeah, the worst thing about Michigan is the winters.
Is it like winter down here? Is that 10 months here and 2 up there for summer? Or is it
basically?
Yeah, we winter 10 months out of the year in Tennessee. Yeah, which is probably a good thing. All right. So obviously, after the yo-yo thing, you're like, hey, I'm good with my hands. I'm going to become an acupuncturist.
Yeah.
What's your best trick on the yo-yo, by the way?
It would be hard to say. The most popular trick I can do, if people were to look it up on YouTube, is called DNA.
Okay.
There's also, if you were to look on like YouTube at like, look for something called 3A yo-yo tricks, or even if you look at yoyotricks.com, 3A yo-yo, you would find me. The hardest tricks I do are with 2 yo-yos at the same time.
Oh,
and that was what I was known for.
That's
doing
crazy.
Stuff like that.
Is your partner, obviously, he's a 2 yo-yo at a time guy too,
or? Yes and no. It's a different type of 2 yo-yos. There's varying types. So
Gotcha. My dad was a yo-yoer. He taught me. We talked a little bit about it. Like there used to be yo-yo guys that would come to the school.
Yes.
In the schoolyard, and they'd just say, "Look, we've got 4 or 3 going, and 2."
Yep.
And
believe it or not, that's still like a
it.
super viable model. Like there are, I think right now one of the more popular ones is Ned Yo-Yo. I think they're still around. It's the same thing. Like it's just they're all over the country. These pockets of performers that get paid to just go to schools and demo tricks and sell yo-yos.
You're going to go sell 1,000 yo-yos a day if you do this.
People make great livings doing that.
How much is a yo-yo these days?
So if you want one that's like can do tricks, the general recommended one is about $10. You could get away with something for $7 or $8 and you do all right. But they're usually running $10 to $20.
That's got ball bearings in it. And it's a little high.
Ball bearings. They have like replaceable response pads, strings, cool things like that. But then they run up to your average like high end competitive yo-yo is around $80 to $120, and then you can get really special like stuff made out of titanium or
platinum.
Like, whatever it is, and you'll.
Mitch has probably got a platinum coated yo-yo because he rolls like that.
I've got a titanium one at the
gold.
house.
Sorry, Mitch.
Gold.
Sorry.
Yeah,
match your grill you got going on over there. So acupuncture.
Yeah.
Right after yo-yos. Totally.
Natural thing that follows.
I mean, I was thinking you were gonna own a pizza store, but you just go acupuncture. Why not?
Why not? You gotta get weirder than yo-yos. So yeah, I mean, when I was training martial arts in high school, I had a knee injury. And I shouldn't say that. I had knee pain.
Yeah.
And I went and I got looked at like some knee specialists and things, and MRIs, all that. There was nothing structurally correct. The doctor I saw at the time actually didn't even offer like physical therapy or something, which probably would have solved the problem. He was just like decided like, oh, you're like 16, you're just trying to get drugs. Like your knee doesn't actually hurt. Go away.
And there you go.
Yeah. So that was
rub some dirt on it on the way.
Yeah. That was super helpful, right? So it was about a year where I couldn't train like kickboxing at all. And so I started doing Tai Chi, which is funny because you usually picture old people in the park. But I just liked martial arts so much that I had to do something. So I was doing super slow Tai Chi with the old people.
Yeah.
And the guy that I was doing Tai Chi with, he was an acupuncturist, and he was like, hey, let's just try this. And it fixed my knee like in 2 months, like all my knee pain gone. And I was like, this is super cool. I'm going to do this. And then I got into a yo-yo company and
got distracted.
But it worked out because I made enough money doing that when I decided to finally go do acupuncture, when I went to school, I paid cash and didn't have to take out any loans.
Nice.
So
are you a doctor in acupuncture?
I'm a doctor in acupuncture.
That's cool.
Yep, technically a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese herbal medicine.
Super cool. All right. So I'm a big holistic alternative medicine guy. I mean, I'm big on I'm a big medicine guy too. My dad he taught at the med school for 42 years. So I think there's a lot to our type of, American medicine, but I also think there's a huge thing that we miss out in, like in Eastern medicine, right? And so let's talk about pain and acupuncture and the philosophy of it and how you kind of help people overcome that.
Yeah. So, my specialty is actually in pediatrics and gynecology, which is an unusual field in acupuncture. So, and I did that. We had talked about I've got 7 children, and baby number 8 is due any day.
There you go. And so, congratulations. Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I always wanted to have a big family, so I got into that. So I just because that was an interest of mine, treating children, helping with fertility, and all that. But my clinic specializes primarily in chronic pain and sports medicine, because that's the majority of people when they think acupuncture, that's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
And so like I see quite a bit of fertility health, and some pediatric cases and things in there, but most of it's all pain. And it's, which is great. Acupuncture is really good at treating that. So, you know, one of the, like the most common things that you occur with pain is usually like there's scar tissue buildup, and localized inflammation, or you'll have like muscle knotting and micro tears, things like that, and then nerve pain.
Mhm.
And you know, acupuncture excels at just treating all of those things in a very non-invasive way. And so usually like people will come in with, say, like low back pain is very common, or sciatic pain. And just examine the areas, what muscles are affected and things like that. And we look at, you know, it's not just localized, but I'll look at like chains of muscles. So like a lot of people don't realize, and even, you know, certain doctors, when they're, you know, if they're not really thinking about it, will sometimes forget that like muscles overlap, like they all crisscross all the time.
All the time.
And so, you know, sometimes like doctors or people will be like, well, you know, you say you treat low back pain, but you're putting needles in people's feet. Well, yeah, because, you know, your low back muscles overlap with the muscles on your hip, which overlap with the muscles on your knee and on your shin and your calf. And so like you get these chains of pain and referrals or compensation. And when you think about it that way, everyone's like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. And so acupuncture is pretty unique, because it looks at a very holistic totality of that. And it's, you know, just, it's a 5,000-year tradition of just, I think, a lot of trial and error.
Yeah.
And it's just phenomenal in that way.
Where did you train?
My master's was in Denver at the Colorado School of Traditional Chinese Medicine.
Okay.
And that was, I did my master's in acupuncture and herbal medicine. And then I apprenticed with a guy out there for a while. He was a sixth generation acupuncturist, so they had like their own like kind of family version of.
That's like, cool. Like they've had their own techniques and stuff.
Yeah, certain techniques with the needles, or like in his opinion, like, okay, you know, they teach that like certain points are located here, but actually they're located over here or whatever, or he just finds better
results. This map's all wrong over here.
Yeah, he finds better results treating things a certain way. But I mean, he was a phenomenal practitioner. Like what sold me on him is he was, you know, this Chinese guy in his 50s, and just super nice. And it's like when you go sit down, he wouldn't even like talk to you. Like he wouldn't let you tell him what was wrong. Like, oh, I'm coming in to see you because I have insomnia or something. He would just sit. And then he'd feel your pulses and like look at your tongue and then start telling you things that were wrong with you. And it was just fun. Like he did that to me one time, and I was like, yeah. And it like didn't miss a thing. And then he'll do acupuncture and just super insightful. And then after that, I got my doctorate in San Diego. And that was, you know, and then I went back and practiced for a little while in Michigan. And then moved down here and opened up a clinic. So
that's super cool.
I got about a little over a decade of experience on this.
Yeah, tell me about the clinic here in Johnson City.
So the clinic, my clinic's actually it's in Kingsport.
Kingsport, okay.
Yeah, off York Street downtown. But I've been servicing kind of the broader area. There's not a lot of acupuncturists in the area.
I've been to see Dr. Hall.
I've heard of him.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're interested in trying, anyone listening, they should go. I mean, you should come see me, of course.
Of course. That's why you're on the podcast. We want people to come meet Brian.
Go meet an acupuncturist, try it.
What are some of the most common things you can take care of for people that they're like, don't even think that an acupuncturist would? You know?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of people think about pain, you know, knee pain, low back pain. And so I treat a ton of that, a lot of sports injuries. Most people don't realize that it can help with sports recovery. So I have a lot of athletes that are on like monthly membership plans that, you know, or like a lot of them are like kids, like in travel sports and things where, you know, it helps reduce recovery time on injuries, or just if you're training a lot. Like I have a guy who comes to see me who's super big into triathlons and things. And it's like, if you're not careful, especially leading up, like you'll burn out, you know, you'll overtrain and then you won't perform as well. But coming in and doing like regular acupuncture, cupping, different things like that keeps him able to train at a higher intensity longer with less days of recovery in between. So he gets more training.
So you're making him stronger.
Making him stronger, yeah. And he actually just went to triathlon, I think, and took a second, I think it was, overall, and was just credits it to the fact that he has less downtime because of the acupuncture.
That's pretty cool.
Like I said, I specialize in fertility, so I treat a lot of.
Tell me like a cool story on this one, right? I mean, I don't think anybody thought about. That's not where my brain goes when I think about acupuncture.
Yeah, most people don't. A lot of that, I think, you use a combination of acupuncture and herbs. Acupuncture has actually been shown to have an effect on like hormone health.
Sure.
And so, you kind of, I would use traditional diagnostic methods, sometimes in combination with like modern lab tests to figure out what's going on.
So you need like a full blood panel kind of thing?
Yeah, so we'll look at like estrogen, progesterone,
testosterone. I mean, because it's not just the ladies.
Yeah, ladies have testosterone. They should have, depending on their age, a certain level.
But you also have, I mean, we're a part of the equation too, the guys, right?
The guys are, yeah. So I'll, sometimes I'll look at, usually I'll send out and look at the men as well.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. Like, I actually had a lady who worked for me for a little while. She started working for me because it was like, man, this is amazing. But she came to see me with some infertility, health, and a condition called PCOS. And she, basically was told she'd never be able to have kids because of this polycystic ovarian syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's actually it's becoming more common, unfortunately. And I think there's a few reasons why, but I put her on herbs and just acupuncture, and it took about 6 months. But she got pregnant. She's got a healthy baby now.
That's awesome.
And it's, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah. So
that's super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. And then other than that, we'll treat like gut health. I do a lot with like kids, especially having like kind of allergy symptoms, eczema, things like that. Insomnia is a big one, vertigo. There's a lot of things that acupuncture can help with if you're willing to put in the time and see. Some conditions are a little harder where it's like, like any medicine, it'll work really well for some people, and other people it won't. Or sometimes I think I'm not good enough to figure out how to make it work for everybody. But
what about like ADHD, autism stuff, that kind of thing?
It can, yeah. I have a lot of that. It gets hard because I don't specialize in that. I've treated a few in the past, but a lot of those issues also rely upon like just your general home environment. And so like you have to work a lot with parents that are, that they're willing to, like, you have to alter your child's diet. You have to alter how much screen time your child is consuming, and various other things.
Gut health is huge.
Gut health.
They're seeing like a huge correlation between gut health and brain. It's just
there's a lot of research done even in the past, like 10, 15 years ago, that talked about your gut basically being like the second brain. Like, as we learn more about the gut biome, the difficulty you run into, like, in the alternative sphere is, I think a lot of alternative doctors like to think they know more about gut health than they do. And so I tend to see like an over prescription of probiotics and different things that are actually making people sicker and not healthier. And so I try to take a more conservative approach on those things, but because you'll definitely see, like, it'll make people's anxiety worse. It'll make insomnia worse. It'll do,
and those are things that you can help with when they're not overprescribed in some of these other things.
Correct. Yeah.
Interesting. That's crazy, isn't it? How we're all the Lord made us just wonderfully and amazingly. And then he's giving ways to like get us better through you guys, and through different, you could have a bacteria that you're missing in your gut that can change your whole world. It's just because you didn't even know about it.
Who knew? Yeah. I feel like I had heard a stat. I don't remember how accurate this is. So like, take this with a grain of salt, but I remember it's something crazy, like 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 cells is not you, like,
oh wow,
in your own body. Like, that's how many bacteria are, like, they're in your skin, they're in your organs, they're like, it's like everywhere. They're
that's on you. 25% of you is not you. Who is it, Brian? Somebody else. That's wild. Where do you see your clinic going in the future? What are you trying to?
I'm trying to build kind of just a whole health clinic. I'd like to eventually get some massage therapy in there, and kind of more particular kinds. Like, it's not just like a oh, this is for relaxation, but like medical massage, um, and build up with some naturopaths and different things. I'd like to get a clinic that can really specialize in treating families, like a family medicine clinic that's alternative. What I'm trying to introduce is like membership, because a lot of these things aren't covered by insurance at all. And so like if you provide something that's membership based, like you pay a fee every month and you get access to a certain number of treatments, free lab reporting, discounts on supplements and things like that, in a way that just makes it more family friendly.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of that comes from my own experience. You know, having a large family myself, it's like, you know, one of the reasons I did eventually follow through and become an acupuncturist is just, it's hard. Like I can't take my family of 8 to the average like naturopath and afford it. And so like these kind of membership based things I think are really good, where you get the right clientele, where it's like, hey, you know, you're paying a really low fee for access to this,
Right.
but like come in when you need it, don't come in when you don't.
Yeah.
And it's, I think, a better alternative to what health insurance has become.
Yes.
And then, you know, and then I get to spend time with every patient, where it's like a lot of the modeling of my practice has been trying to derive set fees, and then as the health provider, I give you what you need. So like a lot of alternatives, especially acupuncturists, they'll charge you for the session. They'll charge you for the acupuncture. If you want cupping, that's extra. If you want herbs, that's a different consult fee,
Right.
plus the cost of the herbs, plus, and there's, you know, it's, for me, it's like, here's your rate. I'm going to do everything. Like if you need cupping, if you need massage, I'm going to do what you need. This is your time. You paid for it, you know, and then, you know, if you need herbs, I'll prescribe those. The herbs, like obviously that's another cost. You have to purchase the supplement.
Right.
But it's, you know, I'm trying not to like nickel and dime people. Like you're paying for my specialty, not every little thing. And so, yeah, my goal is just to try to provide a growing health clinic that families can come to, that also has a very honest, I think, and pragmatic look at health. And so like I think in the alternative health, like the general critique of like Western medicine or modern medicine is that like, oh, you know, it's controlled by the big pharma, and like all these crooked doctors that just want money. And, you know, maybe there's some of that. Generally, I think most doctors are genuine people that just want to help you, and maybe they're not always right about the science. Sometimes they are. You know, they're doing what they've been trained and what they know. And you see that because most of them are opening up to alternative medicine. But alternative medicine is plagued with its own problems. Like the amount of people have come in my clinic spending $300 to $500 a month on supplements they don't need.
Yeah.
Like I have people all the time. They'll come in and they'll give me their list, and, you know, Dr. So-and-so prescribed all these supplements, but do you feel better? No.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a lab panel done? Like, why are you taking, you know, this huge list of supplements when we could literally test that? Do you actually need it?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to provide an environment where it's like, it's actually patient centered, and not just about profits. And, you know, that's a hard thing to balance, because I have mouths to feed at home. And so I get it. Like you know,
but your heart's genuine and you want to help, and, you know, and then not only just the checkbook, help them not overspend on stuff they don't need. Right.
Right. Yeah.
But also, help save them money, which is a good thing too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you feel better when you have a little extra money in your bank account too.
It's amazing what like being a little more stress-free can do for anybody.
Right. Yes. Look, we're going to take you off this $1,000 worth of supplements you're taking every month. And,
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about membership and that kind of stuff? And
yeah, I mean, my base rates are like, it's $80 for a session, which is
that sounds very reasonable.
Yeah, some people, it feels like it's high. It's actually low for the average, for the industry average.
Right.
I try to keep it a little bit down, and then I offer packages is one way that people can afford it, where like you can buy 5 or 10 treatments up front, and the discount's pretty steep. It goes from 80 to 62,
nice.
I think. So it's pretty good. And then I recently started developing membership packages, where I think the starting rate is 120, and so for that rate, you would get a guaranteed 2 sessions, and then I try to give like 50% off any extra sessions that you would need. So like that one's pretty popular for like athletes.
Yeah.
You know, and I do packages too, so it's I forget the exact numbers, but it's 120, and then I think the higher tier from that is like 175 a month, and you can come every week. You can come twice a week, because particularly with people that would be looking at memberships, the visits aren't that time consuming. So when the session is costing you $30 or $20 a session, that would be bad for me if it was an hour. Like I wouldn't be able to make enough money.
No, you can't live off $20
But
an hour.
when I see you every week, like our average session is 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
It's super fast, maybe 20.
That's
and
cool.
I can see multiple people in an hour and have multiple rooms running. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to build up, is just people,
full book of business.
A full book of people where it's like they're looking for something like that. And then I have family membership rates, and the family rates are, I think, pretty reasonable. So, all that's on my website, Kingsport Acupuncture, if people are interested. And
that's super cool. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to come check you out.
Yeah, please do.
Now let's talk about your mastermind plan, because like obviously you treat pain, and so you have an MMA gym.
It's called job security, okay?
Right. We're just building up the pipeline of acupuncture patients. I like it. It's just genius, really. It's genius.
Right.
So
that's right.
We get our tails whipped over here. How did you come up with the MMA gym idea too? Because you got a lot going on. You got almost 8 kids. 8's on the way.
So like I said, I've been doing martial arts my whole life. And there's 2 things that are really important to me about martial arts. One is I think pretty much everyone should do it. It's good as a way to build confidence, and particularly self-defense. And I have a lot of daughters. I have 6 daughters. And so...
And you want these husbands to be able to defend them and themselves and the daughters.
And the daughters, right? When I had my first daughter, I remember thinking, I won't always be here, and I'm not always around.
I want her to be able to take care of herself.
She's got to be able to take care of herself. And so I got her into that. And then along with that, like the training has to be real, because the only way to say it is the vast majority of martial arts schools and gyms around the world are fake. They're what we would call McDojos. So they're McDonald's versions of martial arts.
I got you.
And I've trained in many of them. I grew up kind of in that, where it's like some of them too, like they're a sport, or they're like a history, like preservation thing, and just exercise. But all of them always also say this is for self-defense.
Yeah.
But like if you go to a martial arts gym, and sorry for anyone who's listening, but like if you go somewhere and there's like a 10-year-old that has a black belt, it's a McDojo. That's not real. 10-year-olds can't beat up adults. They just can't.
They'll poke you in the eye, and you go down like a stack of cards sometimes.
Yeah. And so just kind of having integrity in that,
I get it,
is important to me, and not having false confidence. And so
so yours is like the Jean-Claude Van Damme, where he goes into the wilderness and they like just beat him with sticks all the time, and training hard, and
I moved down here,
go kill it,
And I run a gym in Michigan, or helped run one. And when we moved down here, I wasn't going to open one, but just none of the gyms in this area lived up to my standards for various reasons. Some of them are legitimate martial arts, like they're training real fighters, like the things they're teaching work, but the culture wasn't necessarily right. And that tends to be the difficulty, is like when you actually teach people to fight, a lot of those gyms tend to draw not such nice people.
I got you.
And have not such a nice environment that I don't want to put my 14-year-old daughter in.
Right.
And so
we're not creating Fight Club.
Correct. Yeah. Or, like sexual assault is a big issue in the martial arts industry. And so just like between like teacher and student and various things. So like just wasn't something I was going to do.
Right.
So we started my own gym. Like just my wife and I decided something we have to do. My wife trains, all my kids train. And so, the other thing was money. So this was like, we came down and I'd call around and it's like 8 of us train. And it's like, what are you going to charge me per month? And I had one guy, $700 some odd a month. I'm like, dude, that's like a mortgage payment. Like, I'm not going to pay you. I'll pay you $200 a month. How about that? And he, was like, no, it's 700 or nothing. And I was like, okay, nothing, and,
thank you.
So I started my own gym, and, I talk a lot on the website and just with my students that like my priority is to create a gym and an environment for my children. So my goal is to teach them how to endure suffering, That's a big thing that I think martial arts, specifically jiu-jitsu, teaches. Build their confidence, teach them real self-defense. They can actually protect themselves. Do it in an environment that's safe. And there's a variety of ways that I've pushed the limits that other gyms haven't kind of adhered to. But it's like, I do it all. I want my children to have the absolute best, which means when you come to my gym, you get the absolute best, because that's what the gym is.
Yeah.
And just every day we're growing and we're improving and constantly trying to find a way, how can we be better and better and better and better? And it's because I want my kids to train in one of the highest, most elite gyms that they can, that has a high and elite environment, a good culture, which means you get to train there. And I won't compromise on it, because it's for my own children. It's like, it's this one of these situations where, because I'm being selfish, everyone benefits.
That's cool. I love it. I love it.
And so I think we've done that. You come and you meet people, like, the people really enjoy it. And we have just a great group. We've got 8 coaches now. I think this is the start of year 3. We're approaching 200 students. And it's just phenomenal. Like, and we've been working to set ourselves apart, where, like, all of our coaches are CPR first aid certified. We have an AED on site, which I don't know of any other gym in the area that does that. I've got, maybe there's some, but I don't know of them.
The old people gym I go to every morning, that we have
like the YMCA,
around.
Yeah,
the wellness center. We've got them around.
Yeah, but in terms of
guys like me,
in terms of a martial arts school, that's
probably not
common,
right?
My coaches have background checks. They have, they're safe sport certified, concussion certified, and we have policies in place. And
of course,
and
that's awesome.
So it's a good environment. And then at the same time, we're training elite level athletes. So, my 13-year-old daughter just recently competed in the what's called the adult women's blue belt division, which is one of the most competitive divisions in there. So with adults, it's like white belt and then blue belt. But in jiu-jitsu, it takes like years. So it takes about 2 to 4 years to get your blue belt. And so she's been training since she was little, and she's not a blue belt. You have to be 16 to be one. And we just threw it in there competitively anyways, and she took gold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
How old is she?
She's 13. Yeah.
We won't tell. That's awesome.
But we've got a number. We also went to a tournament recently where another one of my students I believe he's 15, and he competed up in the men's bracket and took second.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, we're doing,
we know,
we know what we're doing, and it gets tested out.
That's super cool.
We don't always win first, but it's like we're hanging in there. We have a high level, and we're doing it in an environment that I think is good. So.
Yeah. One of my buddies, he does some of that, and he wrestled and his boys wrestle, and he said, like, the average guy, 30-year-old guy, just comes up across some kid who's wrestled before, like, you have no chance.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no, and so I think that scares me a little bit, you know, and so I kind of, I'm leaning in.
Yeah.
I just am like, okay, I got to spend time learning.
You should come check out the gym.
I think I would. I think I'd like to. And I'd like to bring my boys. One of them.
It's worth doing. And it's like, I've had some guys come into the gym who, some of the guys, they want to test things a little bit. And so I'll wrestle with them or roll with them. And, I had one guy come in recently, and he was looking at me and just kind of like, you're the head coach. Yeah. And we did a 5-minute round. And by the time we were done, he stood up and he's like, man, looking at you, like, you wouldn't guess you're one of the baddest people in the area. So, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That's how I like it to be.
Yeah. And I listen to a lot of, it's odd. Like, I'll listen to a lot of podcast guys, and a lot of them they like to roll. They like to do jujitsu. And
if you know Jocko Willink. Yeah, he's huge on it, and
Rogan's huge on it.
Yeah, Rogan is.
A couple of guys on Bigger Pockets, which is a real estate podcast. Those guys are doing it. It's just, it's interesting that I don't know if it's the discipline of it or the training, but it also helps.
It's a cult. No.
Yeah, I think it is.
Really, what it is it's almost like I've described it this way to people, and some people don't like this, but I think it's true, where war really bonds people. Like when you
Right.
look at like the friendships between military people, and
lifelong.
And sports has always been kind of especially for boys, is like a pseudo war thing, but you can't get closer to it than actually fighting,
Right.
which is what jiu-jitsu and wrestling and those things are.
And some level, guys just want to do that.
They do.
You know?
Yeah.
They want to play too.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of a good
You'd
combo.
be amazed at like the bonds that get formed and the fun that's had. Like, you know, I did this move to one of my students recently. He and I have been prepping for competition that's coming up, and we're just going back and forth. And he hasn't trained as long as I have, but he puts up a good fight. And I did one thing to him where it was like, I just kind of saw it in the moment, was like, I bet I could get this. And I did. And it was just such a hilarious thing that by the time, like, he just tapped out and just started laughing. Like he's like, of course you would do that to me, you know? And so there's just all this joy and this camaraderie. You know, pretty much all of my closest friends have come from jiu-jitsu, and just, you learn to trust people. It's also, part of it is the sport is a high trust sport.
Right.
Because like people don't think about this, but like, tapping out is the way that you prevent from breaking your bones or being choked unconscious, right? And so like every time we step on the mat, I have to trust that when I tap, you'll let go, and that you'll tap at the right time,
right.
and vice versa. And so you end up in this environment that, I mean, you're literally putting your safety and well-being in the hands of these people every day. And that forms good bond. It creates a good friendship. And so, you know, it's just a good sport because of that. And then it's also like just the discipline, like, it's all suffering all the time.
Right.
Like, and you're miserable and you suck at it for who knows how long, until finally one day you manage to get on top of somebody, and you're like it's the happiest day of your life. And then every little win it feels that way. So
yes, I can do it.
I did it.
Yeah.
It's great.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's super cool. Well, I look forward to checking that out. And I think, wish you the best with the gym, and hopefully it continues to grow and thrive, and you are helping make young men and women strong and confident and be able to protect themselves, which I think in our society now it's getting crazier every day, right?
It is.
You just see these weird, just bad situations. And if somebody could have taken care of themselves a little better, they could have gotten out of it. You know, they could have gotten out of that, or shut it down pretty quickly.
Yeah. Or even just have the confidence to, you know, I tell people all the time, like, to have the confidence to know that you can survive under suffering.
Yeah.
It gives you more confidence to speak up when it's happening.
Yeah.
Which is often all that's needed. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. I like that.
Yeah.
You ready to transition to the speed round?
All right. Speed round.
You live in Kingsport?
I actually live in Afton off Kingsport Highway.
Yeah.
So we have a little hobby farm out there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this will be good because we don't have a lot of Kingsportians or Aftons that come on the podcast. Which
all
is
right.
Good. So you mentioned a couple restaurants that are more Johnson City, but you can favorite local restaurant. Yeah, you said Mid-City Grill and Cootie Brown's. What else you got?
Absolute favorite is Sushi Nova in Greenville. They have the best sushi in East Tennessee, bar none.
That's good to know. My family, we love sushi.
And I'm a sushi snob.
I love it. This is great. Go-to coffee shop
is the Crumb Bum. It's right down the street from my clinic. And
Crumb Bum?
Yeah. In downtown Kingsport. I'm there way too much.
Yeah.
So they should give me a free coffee for mentioning it.
I would agree 100%. and the podcast host gets one too. We'll come get one for free.
I'll meet you down there sometime.
There you go. That'd be great. Best way to recover after a long day.
Best way to recover after a long day. Heat is usually the best thing, as opposed to icing, like injuries or anything like that. I think the first thing is make sure you have a good diet. Make sure that you've got like, most people can benefit from a multivitamin. Just a general simple multivitamin will help. And then making sure you get plenty of rest, and like hot showers, hot baths, things like that help. Hot muscles, hot tubs, saunas. Saunas are my favorite.
Yeah.
That's the best thing, I think, to help people recover and
I love it.
Feel better the next day.
Favorite workout besides MMA?
Besides MMA, oh man, it's not really a workout, but it is per se. It's not like
because nothing else is a workout.
Yeah,
right. Unless it's MMA.
Skateboarding. I skateboard a lot.
Yeah,
down in Kingsport, they actually have one of the best skate parks in the area. Like, better than the ones I've been to in Knoxville and different things.
That's super cool.
And you skate for a couple hours. You're sweating, heart rate's up. It's good.
I love it. one thing most people get wrong about health?
Uh, I think the thing most people get wrong about health is that they view health as like a thing that you pay attention to occasionally. Health is an everyday thing.
Yeah.
And you see that even amongst the quote unquote healthy people, like they talk about like, doing, oh man, why am I brain farting here? But, they talk about detoxing, like detox protocols drive me nuts. Healthy people detox.
Right.
Healthy people, you should eat consistently healthy on a daily basis and have a healthy routine. And you don't need a detox. You don't like
Your body's already taken.
Body's already taken care of. You should be taking care of your body every day, not a couple times a year or just when you need to go see a doctor and the lab work comes up. Like we should be looking at our health on a daily basis.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I've really enjoyed getting to know you. Congratulations on number 8 coming out any day now.
Any day now.
Any day now. Yeah. And hopefully the listeners enjoyed our conversation.
Yeah.
You seem like just a great dude who really loves people and wants to take care of them. And so I pray that a lot of people will come see you and you'll continue to flourish and just make our area better. I think it's wonderful people like you. And this is why I love this podcast. Like we wouldn't have interacted. I wouldn't know about you without it. And so, it's wonderful people like you that make the area awesome. And so thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for coming on and teaching us a little bit. And I'm excited to come get some acupuncture. And
all right. Yeah. Come on down. Kingsport Acupuncture. Maybe drop into Duncan MMA. Let's go.
Yeah. And then we'll go what is it called?
The Crumb Bum.
Crumb Bum.
Yeah, it's great.
Yes.
Yeah. Best cinnamon rolls in the area.
Oh, sweet. Well, again, thank you for listening. Subscribe, share. We love just getting people with wonderful businesses, getting more exposure and helping them out. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you have a great day.